So, welcome to our second branch out call. It is Tuesdays, February 26th. No, 27th. Tuesday, February 27th. And this is call two. So, last week we talked about the how and what you gain by promoting or helping someone else promote. So, now it's a matter of what can we do in order to get more leads? How do we inspire more people to want to say yes to hearing the information? How do we make sure that enough people want to go home with some information? Now, we left it off yesterday with without enough shows, this is going to be extremely difficult to continue with. So I really strongly encouraged everyone to make sure that you had booked a bunch of new shows this week, and then when I did the Money Monday that you participated. So I saw Jen's list. Offhand, I'm forgetting all who posted, but it's definitely not everybody that's doing the branch out. So if you have not posted your new bookings that you secured over the course of last week, please make sure that you do that. And if you have not secured any new bookings, then that is your task again this week. And it's always your task. Doesn't matter if you're participating in a branch out or not, without taking time each week to book new showings and new opportunities to be out there with the jewelry, it's extremely difficult to move forward in your business, at all. So now Jen just experienced the reason why we do the book 4 every week, because Jen booked 8, but then signed a team member who took 6. So really, Jen booked 2, which, we never want that to be construed as a negative, because it's of course not. It is amazing to find a new team member who does an over $1,000 launch, takes a presidential kit, and that we get 6 bookings. Like, this is amazing. Nothing about that is bad. However, if she was looking to put 4 new occasions to show the jewelry on her calendar, in that case, in that arena, she's now at 2 out of 4, which means that Jen, this week you want to try to even that out and do 6. So, and I myself did 3, so now this week I need to do 5. So, and just so that you guys know that I have every single challenge that you guys have, my hostess for Fridays, like, no one's coming, can I move to May? So my Friday night moved into May. My Saturday night was a launch, and now her dad's having surgery. So all of a sudden a weekend I was working Friday, Saturday was a launch, Sunday I'm down to just Sunday. So guess what? I'll be back to now I have to work double as hard, because now 4 of my bookings that, the 5 bookings I'm shooting for this week, I have 1 show to get them from instead of 2. Saturday nights would have never counted anyway, because that was a launch. So, so it's not like Michelle's calendar has unicorns and rainbows flying off of it and everybody says yes and every show is 1,000, because it's not. Although I will say this, I did do a really great show on Saturday. So for those that have been out and doing the shows, how are you finding the reception to the jewelry and the sale?
I haven't had an opportunity to show my jewelry yet at a show. I'm doing that Sunday.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get a ton of bookings Sunday too. So.
Awesome. Jen, you did that show over the weekend with the 6 bookings. So what do you think that was?
People absolutely love the jewelry. They love the sale. I put impressions bracelets on all the ones that I had. I put on people. And they asked how much it was. And I was like, well, it's $182. I was like, but don't worry, tonight you're going to get it for $25. $25! So everyone was so excited about that. And people are spending money right now. I just feel like just all across the board, even personal appointments, people are dropping, cash right now. So I think that everybody just needs to capitalize on whatever is in the air right now. I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah, I had a similar experience on Saturday. I was in, a small apartment in Brooklyn. It's not like I was in any kind of, wealthy area or anything. I was in East New York, actually, and there were 7 guests, and my show was 1,303 bookings. And they were absolutely loving the new sale. I will say, and this is, knowing how to maximize the sale doesn't just increase your sales, it increases your bookings. So I'm going to take a minute to go over that now with you guys, because what I did was a girl came in wearing a top that was nice and plain and tight. So I put the the Echo necklace on her, or, the new one. The new Echo necklace. It comes in rose gold or silver. I have it in rose gold. So I put that on her and she immediately was like, oh my God, love this necklace. So I made her a nice arm party. I did a whole bunch of rose gold bracelets. Like basically usually I just put one piece on each person in the beginning, but I decided I would rather I still put one piece on everybody. But on her, I did the complete look so that I'd be able to explain the sale really well using her whole ensemble. So I put in rose gold on her Serena, the Iconic bracelet, the Royce bracelet. There's one more rose gold one that I can't remember right now. So I had that all on the one side. Then on the other arm, I put the Python because that's got that beige, like coral color. And then I put the Lulu earrings on her and the Charlie ring. Now, of course, what do I have? I have a 36, a 34, and then a bunch of assorted 30s to 40s at half. And then her bonus item of the Echo would be 25 instead of, how much is Echo? Like 140? 124? It's over 120. It's either 120 or 140. I don't remember. Maybe it's 124. 124?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the beginning of the show, when I was going over the sale, I was able to say, okay, so let's say that, Clara wants to go home with everything she's wearing right now. She gets to do the earrings that she loves that are 36 and this ring that she loves for 34. Those are her regular price items. Now she can do a whole bunch of these bracelets for half. So I just kind of showed those, and now the necklace she loves the most, that's normally $124, that's her bonus item for $25. So they were all like, what? So it helped too that I had a really experienced past hostess that was like, listen, here's the strategy. First, you write down 2 low things. You find them first. You write them down. That's what you're getting. Okay, so you find your 2 low things. Then you pick 4 more things off your list, and all of those are going to be half, and whatever's highest on your list, there's your bonus. So I was cracking up laughing. So she's walking around the room. You have your 2 low? Because that's what you need. Don't go up to her without 2 low. She'll send you right back. Oh, my God, I was dying. So... and they all did. And incidentally, that girl ended up placing, she doesn't know it yet, but really she placed 2 orders because she was like, what was every bracelet I had on? She had them all on her list and she bought them all. She bought every single piece of jewelry I put on her body. She spent $400 and then booked a show in April. So knowing how to verbalize and show the sale, show everything. So I could have done, I think actually I showed lashes, earrings too, in case somebody didn't want long ones. I said, or you could just get lashes, earrings, or whatever. So show them the 2 things low, show them an ensemble of the halfy things, and then wow them with a bonus item. I did say, and I'll just be honest with you guys, I did say, now, if you want your bonus item to be free, then all we're doing is finding a date, March or April, and now your bonus item is free instead of $15 or $25. And I did leave that show with 3 bookings. Normally, I would have given them a gift anyway. In many ways, this is less expensive, especially if they take a $15 one instead of $25. But I'm quite happy to walk away with that many shows. And super excited people, because when they are excited about the sale and they make a big list, And you want to emphasize again, write this down. You should be saying that a lot during the show, right? Write this one down. If this is something that you love, 2 more glasses of wine from now, you don't remember its name, write it down now. And they always laugh, and then they write it down. So you need to be saying those types of things during the show. Write this down. Because then they write it down. People tend to do what they're told, especially once they start getting like half in the bag. So if they are drinking and you tell them write it down, they'll turn around and then say, did I write this one down? Did you write that down for me? And then they come up to you with a big long list, because once you start reiterating the hostess benefits, one will turn to the other and say, well, if you have a show, I'll come because I'm not getting all this today. And they laugh at each other, and she's like, okay, maybe I will. And that's what you'll hear them saying throughout the night. Go ahead and book. I'm not getting all this today. I'll come to yours. So I know that this is about recruiting, but you're not going to recruit without enough shows. So that's why I am doing some reiteration of things that will drive your business forward in terms of getting sales and in terms of getting the shows booked so that you can meet the recruits. Because then once you have a high show sitting here in front of you, once you have a show with numerous bookings, you get to do exactly what Jennifer did with her hostess, which is to say, hey, Crystal, did you know that with your show here, we can turn this into a launch party? I sat and had this entire discussion with my hostess at the end. Now, this hostess had never, ever hosted a home party of any kind before. So I made a big deal about that, too, at the beginning of the show. I said, I feel so privileged because Elizabeth told me numerous times that she has never hosted a party of any kind. And somehow me and Park Lane were the ones to break through and have her have a home party. And she said, she said, when I went to Midas, I told her I'm not even going to buy anything. So now I placed $100 order. I booked a party. Now I had this huge party. And now I'm learning, like, I could wear this jewelry. I didn't think that I would want to wear this kind of stuff because I assumed it was all big and gaudy. And it's not. There is a lot of things. She likes a lot of the smaller things, which is so unusual for my, all of my Spanish girls in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, I should say. But, everybody has different tastes, and she does like all the simpler stuff, with the exception of ginormous hoops that she loves. So I actually sat and talked with her about the business at the end, and she said, I don't think I'm going to take you up on this, but I got to be honest, I thought about it, and that's a big deal. So I thought that was great that I got her from I'm not buying anything to I'm buying $100 and booking a party and hosting a party. She said she even thought about canceling, and I was like, why would you do that? She's like, I know, it was just weird because I never had a show before. So now I know I've gone over this with you guys a few times. However, the hostess order form, I'm going to reiterate this for what feels like the 10 millionth time. The hostess order form with the thing on the back with what she gets now and what she gets if she decides to join. Can you say you are consistently doing that at every single show? Are you sitting and doing that with the hostess at the end of every time? Jen is nodding yes, and yes. I'm not so sure.
I started doing it after you shared it with us back last year in June, and it's been a total game changer. It's so easy to be able to present the business, it's just, and people are so visual. Most people are visual. And so it's there written out, mapped out for you. Like it is like pretty much a non-negotiable. Like if you don't have them, you need to order them yesterday.
Yeah. Now they are a carbon copy. Now you can print this from the field interface. Just be aware that you'll need to print two if that's the case, because there's the front and the back. So the most important part is the back. And if you aren't doing this with your host, then I would just ask you this question. This is all part of what the hostess is entitled to, right? And so is this. Starting her business is part of what the hostess is entitled to by nature of having the show. So when you're doing the hostess order form, is there any other part that you leave out? Like, do you ever not tell her about her thank you award? Do you ever not tell her about her free? Do you ever not tell her about her half price items? Do you ever not tell her about her hostess only? Because if the answer is no to all of those, then I'm not quite sure why you would say, yes, I don't offer her this part of the hostess benefits. So I really want you to remember that starting the business is part of her hostess benefits. And when you word it like that, you'll also find it more successful. So, Summer, part of what you're entitled to as a hostess today is the opportunity to use this show to start your business. And here's how we would be able to do that. Okay? Summer, say that back to me.
I just got rain in my face while you were talking to me.
So say that back to me. Michelle, part of what you're entitled to.
Michelle, what you're entitled to.
Okay, is to use your show.
Hang on, I can't hear you.
I know it's windy, which makes it hard to hear.
But I have it inside, so.
There we go. Okay, so Michelle, part of what you're entitled to by hosting this party is to use the party to help you start your business.
So, Michelle, part of your hostess plan, I don't know why I can't listen to you.
Part of what you're entitled
start
to.
your business with, and I can help you get started. Let's flip over your hostess form. Get started.
Okay, right. So you want to make sure that this is all part of what she's entitled to, okay? Because everyone wants what they're entitled to. When you go into Macy's and there's some sort of coupon and you're entitled to take a $50 item for whatever, or when they have something at the register at Justice where it's like you're in there with your daughter and then, oh, with this purchase, you're entitled to the Sparkle pillow for $10. You make sure you get your Sparkle pillow.
Right.
So let's make sure that we're offering our hostesses all that they're entitled to. So this is where you can give them the option of, now, what I like to do first is, of course, do a quick ad of how much the show is for. And then I figure out what the commission is, so times 30%. So if this is a hostess that I have not talked, like that has not already indicated that she wants the business, then I do it based on deducting the $600. Because to talk about now buying it for $170 when possibly she already has $1,000 here, we deduct $600. She's going to get a paycheck on the overage on the $400 and only have to pay $40. So that's typically my strategy. So I'll tell her. So let's say I have a $1,100 show in front of me, right? So just do the quick math problem as you're getting this started. So 1,100 minus 600, which is what pays for the kit, right? And she's left with 500. So 500 times 30% is a $150 paycheck. So I'll say, Summer, you actually have an $1,100 show here. So what that means is that if you would like to, since Carol and Fran and Tiffany all booked, you're going to be going to those shows and making purchases probably anyway. Now, if you would like, I can get you the $1,000 jewelry kit. So you'll have catalogs, order forms, and everything, plus $1,000 worth of jewelry. Because you had such a successful party here, all you can pay for that is a $40 registration fee. Part of these sales already paid the fee for the kit. And not only will you get $1,000 worth of jewelry for your $40 registration, but you would receive a $150 paycheck on Tuesday. So you're getting reimbursed that $40, and in fact, even the website you'll need to add on is also covered by the $150. So what are your thoughts? Because I would love to still come to Carol's party and help you do it, But instead of just spending the money there, now you're going to earn the money. They cannot believe, even though you probably talked about it during the ticket game, even though you may have talked about it before, now the numbers are real. So if you've had the discussion with your hostess and she's like, yeah, I'm really not interested, you still need to do this with her, because if she says, yeah, no, it's still a no, Michelle, I'll say, you know what, that's completely fine. Just so that I like for you to know as well, in case any of your friends ask, like, hey, could you have started the business? Now you at least know the information. Or if someone says to you, you know, I was thinking of selling jewelry, now you'll be able to say, hey, call the girl who did my party, because with my party, I could have got a kit and a $150 paycheck and I didn't even do anything. So, you know, I never make her feel bad about saying no. I'll just say, you know what, just wanted to double check now that I have the real numbers. Plus, in case anyone ever asks you. And then you move on. If she wants to, then you do that. If she doesn't want to, then, you know, great. See you at Susan's. And that's that. So backing up into what makes people, you know, say yes to begin with, there are many reasons why your guests and why your hostesses would be inspired enough to either ask you for the information or to say yes when you ask them if they want the information. And there's a couple of things, you know, there's a series of things that you can do to help make that happen. Number one is there's a reason why at some point during the show we tell our story. There's all different kinds of seeds that you can plant during your show that will help you, that will relate to somebody, because there's somebody in the room that would love the business because they just love jewelry and would love to be able to get it free or super discounted all the time. Those are the people that are attracted to the heart tug seeds, right? To the product seeds. They want the product. Then there are the people who would love to do this business because they want to make money. And if they had gone to a candle party, they might have signed up for that too. They kind of don't care. They just would like, you know, they like you enough and they're like, you know what, I could sell this. And chances are they, you know, it's luck that they came to your show and that they didn't go to a home and garden party that night. So those are the people that are going to be attracted initially by the income seeds. So when you talk about, you know, the opportunities that you have to make money, they see your paychecks, things like that. Then there are the people who have a more emotional tie to it. And those are the people that will be attracted to the heart tug seeds. Things like, I've been able to continue to be a stay-at-home mom. Things like, I work part-time and I'm able to make this whole extra income around my family schedule. People that, like, when you say, I or people on my team have full-time jobs, I have a full-time job, yet I'm still able to work this around and not miss a lot of other things with my friends and family. These are heart tug things because people are like, wow, you know, that sounds great. I need flexibility. I would love to be home with my kids. I would like to take my kids to Disney World. So when you're saying if what you need money for is braces, a family vacation, home improvements, you know, there are people who have like 2 kids and a little tiny bedroom. They would love to put an addition on their house, but it costs a lot of money. Something like this can solve that problem. So that's why it's important to have all the different types of seeds throughout the show, in addition to many of each type, which is why when you show a piece like this and you put it on someone, you always need to say something to the effect of, I was so excited when I got this one. Every month we're able to earn this new ensemble of the month and it shows up free. Imagine my surprise when I open this bad boy up. This is just gorgeous. I can't even believe I didn't even pay for this. And you just kind of say that while you're putting it on the person. You don't like necessarily make a production out of it. Like, I couldn't even believe when I opened this up from our free incentive this month. And we have so many pieces like that, right? And does it even matter? Any piece you probably got with your Rich Rewards, who cares? If you know you're 3/4 into the show and you forgot to say it, well, then guess what? The next piece is something you got with your Rich Rewards. So pick it up, put it on someone, and say, it's so funny because people ask me all the time, like, did I buy all this? Meanwhile, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. If I had to spend all this money, what money would I be making for my family? We have the opportunity to get about $800 a month or so in jewelry. So I make sure that I earn at least, 300 of that every month. And this was one of the pieces I picked out last month. And I'm so glad because it looks so good on you, Fran. And then you continue on. So people are like, oh, she didn't buy all that. Because these are all the things that people are thinking while you do your show. People are like, oh, poor thing, man. What does her husband do that she's got to be out schlepping jewelry on a Friday night? And when you show them a paycheck where you're like, she's like, oh my God, she made $400 being out 3 hours doing a party? Yes, that's exactly what happened. People work all week for $400. So the product seeds are those types of things that you dribble throughout your show. The income seeds, usually that, for me, that comes in the form of the paychecks that are in my album. But it can also come in the form of during your Q&A, if you're doing a Q&A ticket game, when someone says, people, I feel like a common question people ask is, what was your highest show ever? Do you find that people ask you that when you do the Q&A? That's like one of people's, I don't know why that is such a popular question, what's been their highest show? And I'll say, I did a $2,000 show once, which is like, on more than one occasion, which is so crazy because at my level, that's $1,000 paycheck for me at one party. And they go, what? And no matter what level you are, that's a huge paycheck for 3 hours of drinking wine with a bunch of girls. So, that's when you can say, so pretty much, and then be honest, in this area, whatever your area is, in this area, I find I've really never done a show where I made less than, $150 in commission. Even on a one-on-one appointment, I generally make at least $50 to $100. And that is all the income seeds. If you have done something particularly exciting with your recent income, nothing wrong with sharing that too. So you can say something to the effect of, when I started this, we had this huge credit card bill and I was like, you know what, I'm going to sell this jewelry to get that paid down. And I was so excited. Last week, I noticed we're down to our last $500 of this credit card bill, all because once a week I go out and show jewelry to a bunch of girls. Or, we really needed a new car and we picked it out and I'm in charge of that payment and it's so nice that it didn't have to come out of somewhere else in our budget. Whatever applies to you. If there's any way you can ever incorporate $600 into your story or something, that's a great number. And the reason for that is studies show that the average American family that is truly struggling, it's $600 is the number. So $600 is the number that they are struggling by. So it's not like people are $3,000. Like the typical family is not $3,000 a month short. They're about $600 a month short. And that $600 ends up on a credit card. And sometimes it's because of an unexpected thing. All of a sudden it's like, oh, the microwave broke. And all of a sudden you're at Target getting another, or the appliance store getting a $400 microwave. And then 1 week's worth of groceries goes on the credit card as well. There's $600. And then something else comes up. Any of you that are homeowners or have children know that both of these things cause you to hemorrhage dollars. And without some sort of cushion, a lot of people end up in that $600 hole. So $600 consistently into a household will turn people's lives around. And it's okay to say that, even if you want to say that little thing and say, you know what, studies show the average family's lives would be turned around with $600 consistently a month. Did you know that if you did one show with me a week, that you would have about $600 extra in your budget? What would that do for you? To know that not one time you were getting $600, but every month you were getting $600. And believe me, wheels will turn, because that is a significant difference. So I was kind of lucky that when I tell my story, we really did need $600 a month for the Cobra. So I kind of lucked out that number was already naturally in my story. But if you can kind of think about that, because people do want to know that you're more than just like the cyborg jewelry lady selling. And so that's what I mean about the telling the story part. So, brief. And you've heard me say this before, so I'm sorry that this is so repetitive for some of you who are regulars, but not your whole life story, okay? Just a little bit of your story that would be interesting to people, as if to say, why is Becky standing up there today? Why is Jen selling this jewelry? So before I bring out my album, that's when I say, I started this business when my son was 6 months old. I was on maternity leave from my teaching job, and my husband was like, the stay-at-home mom gig is very nice and all, but we have a $600 Cobra right now that we do not have. So if there is something that you can do for part-time even that will make $600 a month, that would be tremendously helpful to us. So I thought back to the show that I had. The woman told me that night she made $250. So I said, well, I guess if I do 3 shows in a month, I'll have $600. And that's exactly what happened. I ordered a kit. I did 3 shows. I made $600. And my husband was like, wow, could you make $1,000? Because then we can do whatever it was. So I've been up throughout the years. That was 18 years ago. 4 years ago, Park Lane called me, asked if I would like to take a look at a new opportunity from where I already was. And which is something that's super unique about Park Lane, is that if you already have experience in a direct sales company, whether it's current or past, and you've built a team, then we will talk to you about that, and they'll bring you in at the level that you were at that company. So because of my experience at my other company, they brought me here as a VP, and fast forward 4 years later, here I am making even more than I made at the other company, double what I made at the other company, actually, and never went back to my teaching job. I'm on the world's longest maternity leave. That boy is in college. So this is your chance to ask me any question about either having a little get-together like Susan's doing here today, or ask any question about my job of selling the jewelry. Any question on either of those topics, get you a ticket. The more tickets you have, the better your chances are I will pick it out and you will go home with this piece of jewelry. Let me set my timer. We'll do a little minute to win it. It's not a minute, nor is it a timer. What I actually put on there is just the stopwatch, because I'm going to end the game when I want to end the game, not when a timer decides it's over. Because what if somebody good is in the middle of asking a question? I'm not having that shut down. So I make it like I'm setting a timer, but it's really not a timer. So that is kind of how I try to relate as much as possible. And now they will start asking their questions. And all you need is one icebreaker question before more and more and more come. But, if you haven't made an album yet, I strongly encourage it. I think you've all seen mine by now, right? In some form. You've seen it either. Have you seen the photos of it, or you see me show it here? Chelsea, have you? You have not? It's okay. You don't have to just agree because you think everybody else is agreeing. You could say it. Hold on. Do you believe this chair? I'm like completely Dr. Evil in this chair. Okay, so this is this is my little Life with Park Lane album. So if you want to take a look, you'll see that it's pictures of, fun events like this party here today, and when we go to convention and have team parties and things like that. Park Lane allows us to earn at least 2 free vacations every year. So I've been on Hawaii, Punta Cana. They had a couple of exec trips, so I went to South Beach. I did a weekend in New York City. Leaving next week for Zurich, Switzerland with pretty much my entire family, and we're all going. I mentioned before about the celebrities. We're earning Greece right now, and we only just got started on that. And then, of course, the most important thing. In the back here, I have a series of checks just to prove to you that I do not mail jewelry in envelopes to pay my Visa bill. They do actually pay us in real money. So, if any of that sounds good, feel free to take a look. Now you grandiosely hand it to somebody who was like this. Okay, and then she'll, of course, open it up and go like this and immediately turn to the paychecks, immediately grab the person next to them by the hair and go, okay, and you all have paychecks that will yield that reaction, not just me. And then you start the questions, because a lot of times the question is this. They don't even have their head up. They are looking down at something and they're like, wait, this is for 1 week? And then it goes on from there. So you can do a smaller version. It doesn't have to be in a traditional scrapbook. You can do it in a binder with just the clear page protectors. And then all you have to do is steal photos from Facebook and use the things on your phone. You've all done parties where you took photos of people. You've all seen pictures on our team page of assorted events, conventions. There are company materials that you can use. Cut up a Greece brochure, cut up a Mercedes brochure, cut up a Hostess benefits brochure. All of these things, there's not one of you that cannot make this. You can use a copy of your first paycheck. You can send Facebook messages to each other and say, hey, Becky, can you send me a picture of your biggest paycheck so that I can see what the next level of income is for me, for my level? You can email your newest team member and say, hey, can you send me the paycheck of your launch party? I would love to show my customers what I helped a brand new person earn on their first show. Right? It doesn't just have to be yours. You can indicate, my brand new team member, this is the check from her launch. That alone will knock people's socks off. And if you would like any paycheck from me, I'm more than happy to forward you one from me as well. So I know that was an awful lot in a row. Does anyone have a question or a thought or care to add? Because we have excellent recruiters on here as well. So Becky, what do you do that either I don't do or that you would emphasize that I do that you do as well? Or Jen or anybody else who wants to speak up.
I think I do what you do. Just when I was struggling with recruiting, I asked you, like, what are you doing? And the conference where you're on stage, I think it's MPL 101, where you talked about using the Hostess and the Hostess order form and actually walking through it. So if somebody has already told you no, but they're really thinking about it, they just don't, the fear of failure is there, they'll jump at the money piece. And you've already done the legwork to have the bookings, kind of like what Jen ran into this week. Like, if somebody got you 6 bookings, why wouldn't you make a paycheck and at least make a couple more paychecks? So, and the recruiting book really does work.
Good. Now, I leave the book out at the beginning, so sometimes people flip through it in the early part of the show, but if they don't, then either way, it's coming out at the end. Because sometimes they notice it and sometimes they don't. Jen, anything you would add?
I was just going to say that when I do the back of the Hostess form, one of the wording that I will use is, now I'm going to assume that you want to get paid for tonight, right? You want the check for tonight? And they're like, wait, what? What do you mean I want the check? So it's just it's a way that that helps me like get up the courage. Like it's an easy way for me to just say, you know, you're gonna want the check for tonight. What check? What are you talking about? Check. And so then it's a good way for me to just kind of lead in and continue that conversation. So that's another wording that I have found just kind of fun and lighthearted.
Right. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Does anyone have a question for me or Becky or Jen? Does anyone want to share something that you heard today that you were like, huh, okay, I'm going to definitely do that? Or any kind of concluding thought that you would like to share?
I'd forgotten about paying for the bonus. Was something that I had forgotten about. So that was something that I wrote down that will be good for bookings that I just totally forgot on. Duh.
And in related to like how you word about the check, Mary Grace had shared up this on a note on my desk. She's saying to people, are you one of the people I get to give a free item? And then if they say, wait, how am I getting a free item? Oh, well, we're just picking a date for a couple of girls together. Then whatever you're going to pick for your bonus item, now it's free. So that's another, you know, kind of easy in the side door, like, hey, are you one of the people I get to give a free item? And I know that she converted to that because she was prior. I know a lot of times she does a ring box and she'll say, are you one of my ring people? And then she'll say, they'll say, what do you mean? Oh, well, when you're setting up a date with me, then you get to pick a ring out of the box. So it's just kind of a converted version from the ring to the bonus item. Any other concluding thoughts? All right. Well, I enjoyed being on with you today. I feel like this was a productive hour. If you think of anything else, if you think of any other questions, of course, message us. Again, the book 4, not optional. So please make sure that you are going ahead and securing shows this week that you'll report on Monday. If you have any questions regarding putting an album together, or you want some networking to get a hold of some assorted paychecks, by all means, post, private message. Everybody's more than willing to share that type of information. So, all right. Have a great rest of your day and go put it all to work. Bye.